Welcome to another episode of Philosophy of Chillin. I'm your host, Don't Let the Connect. And as you can see, I'm here joined by another individual that's gonna help me talk about what we're gonna get into today. So before we do that, I'm gonna let them introduce themselves so that she can tell you a little bit about what she do.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris Davis. I am a little bit of a serial entrepreneur, you could say. I own a fitness business, the Fitness Mafia. I'm a personal trainer, and I also own Mafia Security, which is a security company based here in Atlanta. We do a lot of nightlife, bars, clubs, private events, different things like that. I'm also a professional football player. I play linebacker for the Atlanta Truth here in Atlanta, and I'm also a poet, spoken word artist. I've been writing since I was 11, so that's a big part of who I am as well.
Okay. I'm happy to get into everything because I tried to make sure that everything was integrated with what you do professionally and then just the aspects of your profession that I really wanted to talk about with you in general.
Okay.
So the topic of today, I really wanted to go through perception and just the different layers of how perception can influence the decisions that you make, either as a professional or even as yourself as a creative,
Okay.
and building relationships within this space. So I wanted to start off and really understand what has your journey with your personal perception and your identification with your talents. How has that journey been for you thus far?
Interesting question. So, I mean, I think my first kind of identity was like out of what I do was more the athlete. I started playing basketball when I was like 8, 9 years old. So, and I played through college. So that was a big part of who I am. And then I remember senior year of college, you could say I had a quarter life crisis. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? This is my last year playing basketball. Like, what am I going to do after this? Which led me to coaching. And so I coached middle school basketball for 6 years. And then that led me to personal training. So it all kind of went together. It made sense. Like, I've been an athlete. I love, fitness and sports and all this stuff. So it was a pretty seamless transition, but those, try to hang on to that identity of being an athlete is really what kind of led me through the flow of to being a personal trainer and then taking that passion and being a business owner. And that was my first experience being a business owner that started that layer of who I am. And the poetry has just been a part of it all along. Like I said, I've been writing since I was 11, performing since I was 15. But for me, with poetry, it was the transition, and with that was like it was always something so personal to me. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until my probably early mid 20s that I was able to open up more and like, okay, I knew my poetry was good. I heard it before, but the more I put myself out there and the more I performed, and it was really came from friends kind of pushing me into that space. I realized how much I enjoyed it and how I could influence and inspire other people. And so that's a big part of my identity as well. But it was a process in taking something that's always been so intimate to me and then being able to share that with the world. And so I'm in that space now where I feel, confident in it to a level where it's like, okay, yeah, you need to hear this.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Dang, that's good. I mean, it's a lot to unpack in that too. Okay. Dang, let me not get distracted. So I guess the main aspect of what you just said that I want to pick apart or at least ask you about further is noticing when you started recognizing your own improvements outside of what other people were telling you, like even if it was rooted in like good intentions, and it's gonna be bad in there for sure, like that's expected. Yeah. But the good ones that came maybe few in between or even frequently, what was it that kind of helped you realize the reality behind it? Because even for myself, like people tell me good feedback all the time, like, oh, this is good, keep going, keep going, keep going. But it's like, I also have to be able to recognize it for myself outside of that validation, and then be able to continue that momentum and dedication.
Got you. So I think for me, the pivotal point was I noticed how it healed me.
That's good.
So even though I've been writing, since a kid, it started out, before I wrote poetry, it was letters. And it was like just to my family, my siblings, just to express my feelings. So writing has always been an expression. But I remember the first time I wrote a slam poetry piece, and that's when I was 15, and it was a poem about September 11th. And I remember walking through the living room, and I think like there was something on TV. It was a slam poetry contest. I think it was BET or something was tuned on, and I literally stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, I want to write like that. And so that was my first slam poetry piece. Was that, and that spoke to, I got a lot of good reception from that. But I was still in that, I was 15. I was still in that phase, like I didn't know if it was good or not. But then going through real life and after college and your young adulthood, my 20s, I whether it's heartbreak or family drama or whatever, that is when I started to write more intensely, and I realized what it did for me personally. It was more than just expressing what I feel and just saying what I had to say. It did something. It took it a step further. It was a way to process things that I was going through, and so when I started to perform those pieces, then it was the reception. Still people oh, this is good, but noticing how it can inspire other people and heal other people. It wasn't just when I noticed how when people come up to me, it's like, hey, like that really spoke to me because I went through something similar, and so I noticed that okay, this can do more than just heal me. Like this can help somebody else, and so that's what it went from like, yeah, this is good, but I'll if you ask, I'll perform. I wasn't shy about performing, but it felt weird kind of flaunting something so personal, like, oh yeah, you should see this. But like now I know it's like, yeah, no, people need to hear this. I have something to say, and just the way my writing style and stuff over the years, it's gotten more intricate, and when I get with like my metaphors and just different things, the way I write and stuff like that. So I'm very intentional with the creative part of it. I might be writing something that's like, okay, I have like this metaphor that I wanna pick apart, and and I get through it. I get through that. I navigate that creativity, that creative spot, and so that's something that I'm really proud of that I can do. So
I feel that. I like that. That's good though, because like each response kind of revealed a different aspect of like the personality that you had to pull out of you to get comfortable and confident, and then keep going back and being like, well, yeah, this makes sense. Like I had to sit on it for a little bit, but
and I would hate, like I used to, well, not hate, but I didn't like having to. I don't like having to perform or write for a deadline or a specific topic, because it's organic, it's inspired. So, but I also notice the more I write. Yeah. And so if I'm asked to, oh, can you write this poem for this wedding, or when it's family, I've written for funerals, and stuff like that, and it's always nerve-wracking, but I always do it, and it comes out great. One of the hardest ones that I had to write most recently, a little over a year ago. Now my grandmother passed, and so one of my cousins asked me, he was like, you got a poem for me? And I was like, I said, yeah, I'll write something. So I'll write something, and it just it took me a while. It took me a minute, but I wrote something, and it's definitely one of my favorite pieces. So being able to pull something beautiful out of that pain is something I'm proud of.
Man, kudos to you. Like finding a healthy avenue to be able to channel the different emotional levels that we go through. Yeah. That's a journey in itself. Hey, talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now that you're like gaining comfortability and confidence, and you're placing yourself in environments and coming across opportunities to where it's like you're really finding a way to build not necessarily branding just for your companies, but you're finding your own voice that's creating its own level of branding that's
Yeah.
going into, you know, the different facets of what you're interested in and what you're passionate about. So before relating that to a perception, what was your like foundational goal or like your vision that you were like aiming towards?
In general, like it's honestly it's been a journey of just different opportunities presenting themselves and just kind of going with it. It's been intuitive. Am I doing what I originally planned? Like when I got to college, I thought that I wanted to study marketing. I wanted to go into business, and I am in business. I'm a business owner now, and everything kind of came full circle a little bit. So I remember like I went to Agnes Scott College, and they shout out to Agnes Scotty's baby. But they didn't have that the closest thing they had to like a business or marketing major was economics and organizational management. So I picked that. And then I was interested in psychology, just mind of the consumer, just understanding people. So I picked that up as another major. So I double major in that. And so it still came full circle with now being a business owner and working with people on a regular basis and having to interact with people from personal training to poetry, to running a business, my staff, my clients, all that. So understanding people and being able to navigate that. So that psychology degree comes full circle. The economics and organizational management degree comes full circle, even though I didn't think that, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that. I just knew when I graduated in 2009, my first job out of college was a commission-only sales job. The economy was not what it was, but I refused to go back to Memphis where my parents were. So I it's like I got to get real good real fast. And so actually that experience in sales and bouncing around in that kind of gave me gave me certain skills with people skills and confidence and thinking on my feet and figuring things out on the fly. So it's all those little things that experiences through my adulthood is just kind of one thing has led to another. Fitness business led to the security business. The being a trainer, being an athlete, it led to football, and changing that. I'm a basketball player all my life, and football is new to me. But being almost 40, learning a new sport was a transition. But I'm enjoying it. I love it. I'm in the best shape of my life now. And poetry just has been alongside of me the entire time.
That's real. I like that. So, kind of going back to the perception of it all, like, how do I say this? Being any level of human that doesn't fit in a boundary or a limit can be associated to many different stereotypes.
Right.
But for you, I identify it as just drip. You feel me? So, from my perception, I can see just your own artistic ways that you express yourself and the selections of jewelry, like making sure like the two-tone and then the detail in the watch, like I peep all of it and I respect it. So for you, as you've been having conversations in these industries, even in athletics, how has it been for you to put a shine on the overall vision of what you're putting into versus maybe business partners that have stereotypes that their perception is construing the actual mission of what we're doing currently? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I mean, for example, the security industry, especially club security, like I'm in a male-dominated industry, and so it's been navigating growing that business came from the first 3 years. I didn't solicit one client. It was 100% word of mouth. So my work ethic and the way I do things and the way I carry myself spoke for itself.
Right.
And then once, you experience my service, my team, how I do business, people are mostly pleasantly surprised. They don't, not sure, what to expect. But, I've had to stand my ground and fight for my place in this industry. Because they don't expect a woman to be running a security company, especially club security. I've got about 30 people that work for me, and 2/3 of them are men.
Yeah.
And so, even straight men. So with that being said, but they already know how I operate, because the type of parties that we do, because it's word of mouth. Like, we do a lot of stuff for the LGBT community. We do a lot of like, we have a variety of type of clientele.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that Mafia Security is known for is that we can be professional in any room. We can deal with any crowd.
Yeah.
We've kind of changed the dynamic a little bit of that nightlife security. We're not knocking down, drag out the club type of team. We're de-escalation focused. I tell people all the time. I tell them in an interview, I need a mouthpiece, not a hothead.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Handle it appropriately.
Exactly. So, because people, they see a woman doing security in a club, and I got to kick out a 300-pound man, but I have no problem doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I tell people all the time, because I don't need that height. Man, you got to be able to handle yourself. Because sure, stuff happens sometimes, but I've never had any major incidents in my 5.5 years of operating my security team. Mm-hmm. And 90% of what we do is unarmed. So that kind of speaks for itself as far as like those numbers, those stats. So that navigating that security and shit, building my business, being a woman, building a business in a male-dominant industry, like, you deal with those stereotypes, those perceptions of people just like not really sure what to expect. Mm-hmm. But it's about walking into the room confident, and I said what I said.
Yeah.
And you have to stand on business. All money's not good money either, so I've had to walk away from some stuff.
That's a good one.
I've had to walk away from some stuff. I've learned some hard lessons.
Yeah.
A lot of trial and error, because like I said, I just kind of fell into the security business, but it was intuitive. I ran with the opportunity. Yeah. And it's been good to me. All the other aspects, like the personal training was an easy transition because I've always been an athlete. Mm-hmm. So it made sense. I remember working at a gym before I became a trainer. I was just working at the front desk, and one of the other trainers kind of became a mentor to me, and she was just like, just take the test. Just like, just do it. It makes sense. Like, I would always ask her all these questions. Yeah. And so I did it, and it's been good for me. Like I said, I've been training since 2014. Mm-hmm. And I've worked at a lot of different gyms, have my own business, done a lot of different styles of training, a lot of different rooms, a lot of variety of clientele. So I like to think that I can be in any room, I can deal with anybody. If I don't know, I can find out, or I know somebody that does.
Yeah, that's facts.
So it's created me a lot of resources and a lot of productive network. People always know they can call me for pretty much anything. Like I said, if I don't know, if I don't have access, I could probably get it by a couple of these degrees of separation.
Yeah, connected to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that. And that's smooth. And honestly, like, it's refreshing to hear your perspective on looking at the obstacles too. Mm-hmm. Because you already know you have to go through them, but how you go through them is like what I value the most, because to be a security entity that has stats in an unarmed department mm-hmm. takes a lot of control, strength, and application of knowledge. That's very commendable, because not a lot of people understand the value of that control, if that makes sense, and that type of management. Yeah,
to me, it's like about embracing the perception, or like the stereotype, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna be the different one walking into the room, and I stand on that. Mm-hmm. So when I make my security rounds, I'm going to different sites. I don't care if I'm going to a hole in the wall club or the gathering spot or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I'm walking in a suit in a certain type of way, and mm-hmm. so like people notice, and so it's just like not just like this person stands out, but like, okay, I carry myself like a boss. Yeah. And true. So that's always, even when I was coaching after college, I coached at a private Jewish school in Sandy Springs. Loved every minute of it. Loved my girls, like coached it for 6 years. But I was the different, like this, masculine presenting woman coming in and coaching these little 6th through 8th graders, mm-hmm. And they taught me a lot about like their culture and stuff like that. And, I was not apprehensive, but cautious, I guess you could see, as far as like, how parents and student and everything would have happened. But, I just want to some of the best 6 years that I spent. I learned a lot, loved that experience. Um, but I'm typically the different one in the room, and I love it.
Yeah. I love that. Embrace it. Hey, you talking about that's real though. Hey, if you can't, if it's not gonna leave you, then you might as well join it and add it to you. Because regardless, you gotta keep moving, and that's really my focus is trying to understand the elements that you utilize to recognize how to move forward. Because like I was saying earlier, the good compliments and that reassurance is always great when it comes in. Like it's very fulfilling, and sometimes it happens like sporadically. Like you just mind your business, and then someone just, you know what? I just had to tell you that, and you just be like, thank you, I appreciate that. But in regards to those same like conversations and being able to uphold who you are, so how do I say the word, with dignity. How have you seen those like different experiences kind of pull out to you tools that you've been able to utilize to like, okay, I can handle this situation like that because I took away this from your ignorance, or I took away this from a business deal that I had to walk away from, or shit, the team, y'all may not have aligned with me in the mission, but you know, I can make sure that the next opportunity I'm in, I can have these conversations this way.
So like I said, there were some hard lessons I had to learn as far as like, I remember when I lost my first contract. I remember I had to, come back to it and rework the plan and how I'm going to protect myself, protect the team, and stuff like that. Even like stuff I've had to walk away from. But what really kind of the philosophy for me that blankets everything I touch is something that my mom told me in high school. I was 17. I was, deciding on colleges, and she told me, she's like, wherever you go, whatever you do, it should be a better place when you leave, simply because you've been there. And so that applies to school, that applies to work, that applies to every relationship, every interaction. So if I can leave you better than when I found you, then in some way. Not saying I'm always perfect and that everybody loves Chris. I'm not saying that, but because the haters are there too, or just like bad things. You make mistakes. No one's perfect and stuff like that. So I've left a bad taste in people's mouth. I'm not saying all that, but saying that's never happened. But that's the mentality, and I can say that most people would say about me that holds true to their experience with me. That I influenced them in a positive way or added value to the relationship, the situation, whatever the project, or whatever that case may be.
Well, damn, that's good. Okay, so shifting a little bit because we get into the end of the episode. But before we do that, I did want to ask you, just taking everything you said thus far, because you touched a little bit on your past, you touched a little bit on like elements that you had to work through to get to where you are now currently, and the philosophy that you're applying to the things that you see now and presently. With that being stated, what's your mindset now? Or how are you looking to apply the mindset you've already described to your current goals, whether it be for your athletics or your security, or really just the way in which you're performing or showing up for yourself in your creative ventures as well too?
Nobody's coming to save you. That is my theme in 2026.
Damn, that was good.
Last year, 2025, my theme was square up and don't blink. So no matter what happens with adversity, we're moving forward or we're staying in the ground. We're not going backwards. Sometimes I had to stay in ground, and sometimes you're pushing forward. But this year it's just like, okay, it's time, taking things to the next level, growing my business, growing my personal brand, wanting to do more with my poetry. More, I'm locked into this, to the season. for football. Nobody's coming to save you, so you got to put in the work. You got to get up and get it. You got to do it when you're tired. You got to do it anyway. So that's what it is. Nobody's coming to save you.
That's good. That's good. Like, the statement alone can really just be like a whole nother hour on the couch. We ain't got time for it.
I would like to share a piece with you. I feel like goes with the theme of perception. So I have one of my more recent pieces. It's called Oxymoron, and so I mean it's self-explanatory. And for the viewers at home, if you're not sure what oxymoron means, Google it, or now or later you might get it. After the episode, once you think about it. But this is oxymoron. It's just a description, basically, of me. Who am I? Good question. I'm your biggest fear, and then your favorite blessing. I'm everything you dreamed of. You're nothing you ever imagined. Pisces, passionate. I'm as real as they come, with a little magic. Mostly misunderstood and often doubted. Passed over when I should have been counted. I'm the lyrics with no sound. My cadence is where the rhythm is found. Could have been your favorite song, but instead you played me like the one you skipped and found out later I was fire all along. This poem ain't about you, but the shoe fits Cinderella, put that shit on. Lace it up like the sneaker link on Christmas. And baby, I'm single, so ain't no sneaky link. It's just nobody's business. I'm the daughter in search of the partner my mother would have wanted of me. I'm the gentleman my father raised my brothers to be. I'm the opposite that attracts you. I'm the same sex it's not different for you to be attracted to. I'm self-made, self-paid, type fade, managed swag with a pretty face. You got the right one in the wrong place. My time is coming, I won't break. Privileged to be under these pressure plates. I'm a deuce of diamonds in a world of spades. Perfectly preserved and well played. Greatness personified, a warrior's body with kind eyes. Throughout these hurdles of life, I've been gutter low in cloud nine, cocooned and butterfly, flat broke and revived, choked on swallowed prides, had hope for the wrong kind, spoke when I was tongue-tied, rode my boat on a rough tide, instead of gently like the lullaby, felt defeated every time I tried, but this world can't keep what's kept with the Most High. I've been delivered when I should have died, so try your best but it won't fly. When shit goes left, I learn right, say less with a loud vibe, play love close to the vest cause my heart's been ripped outside. Only thing left in this chest is just signs of life. The morning of my first breath at 5:25, it was TGIF and the plan was live. Friday the 13th, born a nightmare, haunted by my dreams bigger than movie screens. Failure scared and inside screaming, but failing forward is where I lean in. I'm a humble poet with shit to talk. I'm the truth that heals your ignorant thoughts. But those gems come at a cost. What you gain was from my loss. I awake what's dormant to comfort you, left gaping open on my wounds, poetically clothed in the naked truth.
Oh shit. I'm gonna have to somebody is gonna send me the captures of my facial expressions because I already knew that was fire.
Appreciate
the
that.
lyricism go crazy.
Yeah, that's what I've learned to write more creative, like be intentional. Like that's probably one of my favorite, like lyrically, like most favorite James poems. Just like all the wordplays, like yeah. And my stage name is Truth. I don't know if I said that, but
Truth ain't
Truth.
Ah!
So yeah.
Hey, is it all uppercase?
Yeah, it's an acronym.
Okay, I was about to say no copyright. We not lawsuits, Disney. We ain't doing it.
This is copyrighted. No, this is copyrighted. But yeah, because I have a poem, Truth, that I wrote in college. That it's this introduction that explains the acronym. And
no, that was dope.
Yeah,
that was dope as fuck. I can't even hold you. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of the episode, unfortunately, because I have so many more questions to ask you, especially after a piece like that. Cause like going down the creative tunnel, like we
just got to do this again.
We're gonna have to do this again. Nah, no bullshit. But with that being said, these are the last couple minutes of the episode, so I'm gonna pass it off to you. And you can ask me any question that you would like to, whether it be pertaining to the theme of perception or if there's anything outside of it. So it's on you.
I guess I am interested into like how you came up with the idea of this podcast and like the philosophy of chilling. Like what is that, like where that title come from, where that inspiration come from, like where you get like the topics that work within that title?
That's a great question. And it's kind of complex because kind of what you said earlier, it came from people's feedback and then just understanding my personality in general and just the different avenues that it was showing me in how I exude myself to other individuals.
Very true.
So,
very true.
Thank you. But basically, I would just have people like meet me or interact with me because I also operate in business very heavily. So, in the creative ventures that I've been a part of, I'm either more recently, I've been on the directing side, mostly producing and production coordinating. So I meet people every day, and I used to be in the underground scene with Atlanta too, and in DC when I went out there for school. And going to all these clubs, meeting all these DJs, someone be like, "Hey, can you manage? Talk with me like you're my manager." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I don't want to hear the conversation." Anyway, after that, people would just come back up to me and be like, "Dunlap, you just seem so chill, bro. Like you just be vibing for real. Like what is that?" And I would think in my head like, that's the perception that it gives when you see me in that instance. Like it may look like I'm not doing anything or like I'm just sitting down or looking at my phone, but really like it's a lot going on up here. Yeah. Like I'm being observant of everything.
Taking it all in.
You know what I'm saying? Like and then my profession has always been in making sure details on contracts have been consistent, clear. So even though it's a lot going up here, at the same time, you can't always exude the craziness that's going on in your mind.
That's facts.
And still think it's gonna be smooth trying to build relationships with people that understand things at different levels. So the philosophy aspect of it came from just how I apply my own mentality to the things that I see materialistically or on the surface level of this world, whether it be pertaining to like politics, just fucking what's another good example of something that people had misconstrued it? Gender. It's so many different things. And when I tried to figure out, okay, what's the best way to phrase what I have to say? And I try to combine the two. So yes, it's the philosophy that I'm applying, but how it's being presented to you is as if I'm chilling. And I want to break that down a little bit further. So when it comes to like the different topics and questions that I really discuss on this platform, it comes from a combination of the exposure that I've had as a journalist and as a business operator within these creative spaces and being around these larger production studios and the interactions that I have on a daily basis.
Right.
So it's highlights of things that I've seen people are afraid to talk to or talk towards when I first get introduced to them. Because at the same time, like, it's not always the appropriate time and space to have a more in-depth conversation depending on the type of event you're at. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So I try to get like topics that I know cater to the technicalities and the specifics of what you specialize in your industry and what you do in your role, but also try to just understand you and your soul personally. Because what you do is great, but this is the level of what I really want to ask you because I know you've had to carry that with you too. And I want to understand like what are some gross aspects that I can also, just appreciate you and what you had to, grow through, and then even take that tidbit as a reminder for myself, like, hey, don't forget this shit. Like, you might be in a successful season, you might be in a down season. Like, these are other individuals that go through the same shit like you.
Yeah.
And the principles that they apply are basically in the same realm, but the level of detail that you apply it to is where you find, you know, the diverse perspectives and the methodologies that people apply to.
Yeah, for sure. Dope.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It is shitting, man. Ridiculous. But any other questions?
Man, not that I can think of, and I'm gonna have them ready for next time we do this. You feel me?
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, these have been some great takeaways for me, and I honestly hope that y'all tap in because I need to listen to more poetry. But I'm gonna let them remind you where to get in contact, where to follow up for more, and just really show you what they got going on for real in the city.
Yeah, definitely. You can follow me on Instagram or TikTok, Chris Truth Davis. It's Chris with a K, so KRISTRUTHDAVIS. You can get to my other pages as far as like the security business, fitness mafia. So if you're looking for a personal trainer, looking for someone to help you with their goals, I got you on that. Or if you need some security services, I got you on that as well. So yeah, check me out, Chris Truth Davis, on all platforms, and you can get to my businesses through there as well.
So as y'all know, we could really be talking on this couch for a whole nother hour, but we gotta go. So I know y'all do too. So we out of here. Peace.